on a sunny and warm Tuesday morning here in, I was going to say downtown Rocky River, but we are not in downtown Rocky River. I'm in just regular Rocky River. I don't know, or irregular Rocky River. Good morning, everybody, and good to see you all. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not seeing any of you. You're seeing me, and that's no pleasure cruise. We got a lot to get to today. Coming up later, the Guardians head to the road to play the Evil Empire. The Cleveland Cavaliers are mentioned in a fascinating article on ESPN about potential blockbuster trades. And if you haven't seen this, I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you haven't, it's going to stun you what the ESPN is suggesting or proposing that the Cavs could potentially do. But we are going to begin with the Browns in just a minute. But I've got to share something that happened to me yesterday because it was deeply disturbing. Yesterday, I was making a bad choice for breakfast. Let's say that. I was going through the Taco Bell drive-thru to get an AM Crunch Wrap. Not the best choice for somebody who's severely overweight, but what's done is done, right? So I go through the drive-thru and I order my Crunch Wrap and I ordered a small Diet Pepsi because got to drink that diet soda when you're eating a fried sandwich essentially. So, if you a lot of times now with a lot of the drive-thrus, you'll see your order up on the screen. So I see my order, I see the Crunch Wrap, no jalapeno sauce because I don't like that. And I don't see the Diet Pepsi up there. And the guy's like, $5.30, whatever the price was. And he's like, come around. And I'm like, why? I wanted a Diet Pepsi also. He's like, I got you. So I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know what that means, but all right. He remembered I need the Diet Pepsi. So I pull around. The guy hands me the Diet Pepsi. And he goes, seniors drink for free. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say what the fuck are you talking about. But that's what I'm thinking. Like, senior? Do I look that old? What the hell is happening here? I said, how old do you have to be considered a senior for the free soda? And he goes, 55. Now, I'm not 55 yet, but I was still, I was less offended than because I was thinking, you think of senior discounts at the movies and all those type of things, you think of 65. And I'm actually turning 54 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my 54th birthday, but so I'm 366 days away from 55. But here's the thing. After my initially being offended by the fact that I was called a senior, I thought, well, listen, who cares? Let me take advantage of this situation, right? And now I'm a totally different mindset. I feel like when I buy movie tickets, I'm putting down senior. And if I get there and they're like, well, how old are you? I'll be like, I could pretend I'm like confused. I don't know. I thought I was a senior. This could turn into a whole cottage industry for me and others of, getting away with being a senior. If I really look that old, I don't know. I guess when especially when I got the grubby beard, I look a little older. I still don't think I look 55, but can we put a poll, guys? I don't know if everybody will be honest about it. I might just want to bust my balls, which, it's fine. Yeah, I'd like to ask, do I look 55 or older or 54 or younger? I feel like even with the grubby beard, I don't look 55, but maybe I do. Maybe I'm kidding myself that I don't. When I'm clean shaven, I feel like I don't look 55 at all. I feel like I look younger, but I don't know. I'm getting my beard shaved off today, so maybe by Thursday when Dustin's on, we'll see if I still look over 55. All right, there's the poll for those of you who are watching live. Do I look 50? Now I'm voting no for myself, so we'll see. So far, everybody says no. I like this. Not that many votes yet, but I appreciate that you're all saying no. Oh, somebody just said yes. What the hell? Thanks everybody for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. I don't know what I'm doing. My wife has been asking me what do I want to do for my birthday. I don't know. I got a little league game to coach tomorrow. So I don't know that I'm gonna do anything. Maybe I'll pick a place for dinner or something. But it's Wednesday, so it's not like we got to make a reservation really. And the place is gonna be packed on a Wednesday. So I don't know. I don't think I'll do anything special. It's a crazy week for me with all my little league stuff. Before I get to the Browns here, it's a really fun week. I had Sunday. I had practice with my little league team. Yesterday, this coming Saturday, for the first time ever, Rocky River Little League had never done an All-Star game ever before I, started before my son started playing there. And a couple of years ago, we kind of talked the board members into doing an All-Star game. We just did it in the minors, in the younger kids 2 years ago, and we just had one game. And then last year we expanded to 4 games within the organization, and now this year we're playing 4 games, but we're playing against Westlake Baseball. So Rocky River Baseball League against Westlake Baseball League. Unfortunately, neither one can officially call themselves Little League because neither one is officially affiliated with National Little League. That's the whole thing. But anyway, so it's really cool. So we're going to have a 2 third/4th grade games and a 5th grade game and a 6th grade game. Rocky River versus Westlake. And we met with the guys from Westlake. Nice guys. It's going to be intense, man. If anybody wants to come watch some I would say, quality young kid baseball, quality for that age, come on down behind Goldwood Elementary School in Rocky River on Center Ridge Road. Saturday at 9 a.m. On the younger side, the 3rd and 4th grade kids, we're doing a mix of 3rd and 4th grade kids, both us and Westlake. So at 9 a.m. on our smaller field, we'll have a 3rd/4th grade game, our 5th grade game on our bigger field, and then the 2nd, 3rd, 4th game immediately after that, and then our 6th grade game, which is my son will be playing in at 11:30 or whenever after the 5th grade game. But it's going to be fun. There'll be a lot of Westlake people there, Rocky River. Hopefully they're competitive games. I don't know. And Rocky River Westlake on paper has an advantage because they're 40,000 people live in Westlake and only 20,000 people in Rocky River. So by the numbers, they should have an advantage. I don't know. We shall see, though. So yesterday, we got both our 5th and 6th grade all-star teams out to the field to practice, and that was a lot of fun. And then I got Little League games tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, and then the all-star game Saturday. So anyway, I don't know if anybody cares, but I wanted to share it anyway. Thank you, Preston, for saying I'm the GOAT. I appreciate that. I am the GOAT of Little League, I guess. Anyway, let's get to things that all of you care about instead of just me, and that's the Cleveland Browns. There was a podcast. Deion Sanders went on a podcast with Asante Samuel. Asante Samuel, the former NFL player, has a podcast called Say What Needs to Be Said. And Deion Sanders was on yesterday with Asante Samuel. And he just to give you a couple quotes from this article. He said, when you sit up there and say something like he's obviously talking about look, I should give context here. He said he was hurt by the reports around Shedeur. He said, when you sit up there and say something like he went into a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Deion said, Shedeur Sanders, who has had 6 different coordinators who are still functioning and leveled up every time. We brought somebody new in, and you're going to tell me he was unprepared? You're going to tell me he had on headphones? Anybody who knows my son understands he's a professional. He's going to go into a meeting with headphones on. Y'all, come on. He went on to say about the reports about his work effort. He called it foolish stuff. He said it did hurt, but the Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He said, like the edge that Tom had, it gave the edge that you had. It gave them the edge that I have. Folks said we weren't going to be nothing, but we had to prove that. That gave them the edge that they needed, both of them. I'm not sure who he's talking about. No, I don't think anybody thought Deion was going to be nothing, but Certainly nobody thought Tom Brady was going to be anything. That's right. It's easy to say that Deion should shut up and, just leave it alone, stop complaining, let his kid prove himself. That's easy to say. And I'll even admit, like when I first started reading this, I was like, oh, why is Deion talking? This is not going to help his son. And then I thought about it a little longer, and I said, if our sons, or daughters for that matter, not in the NFL, but in another sport, if people were saying things that you knew to be false about them publicly, that could hurt them personally, could hurt their careers, wouldn't you stand up for your kid? I know I would. If my son was a good enough athlete to play at a high level, or not even an athlete, whatever, actor, comedian, whatever it might be. If I knew, if there were reports about him and I knew them to be untrue, I would use my ability to connect. I have a platform. Not everybody has the platform that Deion Sanders has. Certainly my platform's not as big as his, but I have a bigger platform than most people. And if my son were a young actor or a young comedian or a young athlete and people were crapping on him and I knew it to be untrue, I mean, even if whatever. I guess even if it were true, I'd probably fight against it. But most likely it would be untrue. And if I knew it to be untrue, there's no way I would just sit there quiet. Well, I'm going to come on and do a sports talk show and not say, you MRFers talking about my son can go kiss my you-know-what. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a bunch of idiots. So I don't blame Deion for what he said at all. In fact, I respect what he said after my initial reaction to it. I immediately changed my thoughts about it. And especially because he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything ultimately that is a negative for his son. You could make the argument that every time he talks, it's a negative for his son. I don't buy that. At this point, there's nothing really that Deion could say that's going to affect his career. I think, I guess there's something, but unlikely. Shedeur controls his career now. The fact that he was a fifth-round pick is now irrelevant. He is at minicamp. He'll soon be at training camp. There's talent there. He's an NFL player. The question is, how good an NFL player is he? Is he a high-level starter? Is he a serviceable starter? Is he a quality backup? Is he an afterthought? I have no idea how good he's going to be. Don't. NFL GMs, again, screw it up all the time, figuring it out who's going to be a good quarterback, who's not. I don't have a great sense of Shedeur Sanders. If you ask me to predict, is Shedeur going to be a great starting quarterback, a solid starting quarterback, a high-level backup, or a nothing, I would predict number 2, solid starting quarterback. That would be my prediction if I had to right now. But it's really just a gut feeling more than much of anything else. I just don't see him being a backup or a bust. I think there's too much talent there, but I don't think there's enough talent to be elite. I obviously hope he ends up being even better than I thought, and we'll ultimately find out if he is a solid starting quarterback in the NFL, if that's good enough. Time will tell. But he controls this to some degree. Obviously, the coaching plays a factor. The talent around you plays a factor. And his athletic ability or his natural ability plays a role too. But in a lot of ways, he controls, going forward, his career. And if he ends up being a really good player, the fifth-round pick will be something that will be used in a positive fashion. It'll be, wow, do you believe all these teams blew it and let the Browns get him in the fifth round? That's it. I mean, at this point going forward, there's nothing really negative about him being a fifth-round pick. If he doesn't pan out, He was a 5th-round pick. If he does, wow, he was a 5th-round pick. So I got zero problem with what Deion Sanders said. He's defending his kid, as probably most of us would. And if you're saying that you wouldn't do it in the same situation, I say you're full of shit. Or you're a bad dad. Okay? Doesn't mean Deion gets it right every time he speaks or has done everything perfect. Have you? I know I haven't. I stew all the time. Did I screw this up with Aaron? Did I make this mistake here? We all do that. Nobody's perfect. If you think you're perfect, you're full of shit also. Mistakes are made. I don't think this was a mistake. And everything that Shedeur has had to say since he got drafted by the Browns has been nothing but good. What can you complain about? If you have an agenda, it was funny. I just noticed, I didn't see it at the time, but I noticed, it might have been a week ago, I don't know. There was somebody on Twitter was saying, I almost want to find this now if I can. Somebody was, here we go. What is this? Somebody who I don't know said, this was May 30th, so not too many days ago. And Adam the Bull, you aren't even a Browns fan from what I heard. Why do you mention I can't remember, Boogie, who's Shedeur's friend, when ESPN is who tracked the reps? You literally didn't say nothing when he was there. I hate liars and fake people. I don't even understand what she's talking about, and then people like commented on it. I'm not even sure what that is in reference to. I guess it's in reference to last week when I said that the statistics in practice don't matter, and somehow that was turned into now I guess apparently I'm anti-Shedeur Sanders, which, if you've listened to me, is batshit crazy. I haven't been, and it's just so stupid for the most part. You know, usually the people accusing other people of having agendas in the media, usually those people are the ones who actually have their agenda. And how many times, folks, like when I don't like a player, I've told you. If you know me, I've said it. If a player rubs me the wrong way, I'll admit it. I try not to even if I don't like a player, I'll try not to. When I talk, Baker rubbed me the wrong way when he was in Cleveland his last year. And I really tried hard not to let that affect my criticism of him. I don't know if I did a good enough job or not. That's, I guess others to judge. But you try not to let that play, and now Baker, who was not good enough here, has been great in Tampa Bay. He's done an excellent job. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? We'll find out. He's been a much better quarterback. He's matured. I give him credit for that. Honestly, I want to say I've never had an agenda against a player where I would allow it to purposely cloud my judgment or purposely talk down about somebody. I guess it's possible I have. I really can't think of it. I'm sure it's easy for fans to say, oh, because I've said something bad about whatever player. And maybe there was somebody. I don't know. But usually if I bag on a player, it's just because I don't think he's good, not because I got an issue with him. And I certainly have no issue with Shedeur Sanders. Frankly, it was stupid for me to even bring it up because I can't just get involved in these conversations every time where somebody, you don't like Shedeur, you're bad. Practice stats don't mean shit. That has nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders or Joe Flacco or any other fucking quarterback in the league. They're practice. It's practice. You can't look at stats as if you put ESPN putting up a graphic of the completion percentages and touchdown throws in practice when you're playing 7-on-7 with no pads and no hitting is fucking asinine. It is meaningless. Everything I've heard about Shedeur Sanders so far at Browns camp, everything he said and everything I heard, especially from Zach Jackson, who may be on the podcast this week, I'm working to get him on, has been very positive. So, but I don't care about the stats. It's practice. We shouldn't even call them stats. It's so stupid for all of the players. Trust me, Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Reese are not making judgments about who's going to start week 1 for the Browns based on practice stats in shorts. And if you think that should play a role, you're a fool. No matter who you think it benefits or hurts. It's just flat out silly. All right. Derek says Shedeur has no chance with our wide receiver room. Why does he have no chance? What does that mean? And I'm not a huge Jerry Jeudy guy. I think a lot of the other guys, that I work with here on UCSS, that they're higher on Jerry Jeudy than I am. I don't think, I think he's a good wide receiver, but not like a big time number one. But Jerry Jeudy, he's still a pretty good player. To say yes, the Browns have some talent at wide receiver. They don't have the worst wide receiver room in the league. It's not great. This idea that you have no chance, this doesn't make any sense. Everybody's got a chance. All the quarterbacks, if they're going to start, are playing with the same guys. David Njoku, solid tight end. You've improved your running game. The skill talent on the Browns, is it top 15, 16 in the league? No. Not as of today, but it's not the worst. But the Browns are lacking in overall talent. They're a bottom 10 roster. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And it hurts the chances of initial success on some level from all these guys. However, I think the bar is lower for them all too, because I think you got to be realistic about what's around you. $400 million Jet says he looks more like a quarterback than Gabriel. From a physical standpoint, sure. I haven't seen them actual practice. I haven't been there, so I don't know. Again, it does seem like Shedeur has outplayed Gabriel to this point. That's what Zach has said, that he looks more of a quarterback. That's certainly a positive in his column. Jay also says, or $400 million Jet also says, Jay lost his mind when they were talking about Baker yesterday on UCSS. Jay always loses his mind on Baker. I don't know what he said. I wasn't on the show yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'll get schooled up on it today. Aaron Snyder, I think they should give Sanders the field in the preseason and let him prove himself. Ignore the drama. It's about football or nothing else. Well, he certainly will get some opportunities in the preseason. I don't think there's any doubt about that. G. Bush's bad neck. Love that. Said, Bull, if Sanders is good, but a Joe Burrow-level prospect comes out and the Browns have the pick to get the prospect, what do? That's a really tough situation, but in the end, if there's a Joe Burrow-level prospect and they have the ability to get him next year, you have to take that guy. Unless Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel prove that they're a no-brainer top 10 quarterback, you'd have to take that guy. Mark Jones, PFF has the entire Browns roster rated 32nd. Hey, I saw that. I don't know that, it'd be silly for me to disagree with them necessarily, because I don't know the depth of other teams' rosters like I know the Browns. I find it hard to believe the Browns have the 32nd best roster, but yeah, they're definitely in the bottom 10. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Aaron says, wacko for Flacco. Well, for half the season anyways. Right now, the poll, does Bull look 55 or older? 66% of you say no. 34% of you say yes. Damn. 34% of you just throwing me right in the shitter. I look over. I'm looking old. I guess because when you're fat, do you look older? Maybe I do. Maybe if I got my shit together and lost 120 pounds, I'd look younger. I got to do it for more reasons than that, but time will tell. I want to switch gears and talk some NBA. Obviously, the finals will get going on Thursday. Yesterday, or was it this morning? No, yesterday. ESPN put out a column. They love doing this stuff, and we love, talking about this. And the headline is Potential Trade Offers for Top 2025 Draft Pick Cooper Flagg. And one of them was a 4-team trade in which the Cavs would get the number 1 pick in this year's draft, which, of course, would be Cooper Flagg. Javon Carter in the regular season didn't play very much. He averaged 9 minutes a game, 4 points. Nothing much. 29-year-old on the Bulls. So they would get Cooper Flagg, Javon Carter, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Keebler, P.J. Washington, and Daniel Gafford. Now, I don't know enough about the other players. Most of these guys, I don't think played very much. The other guys they'd be getting in this trade. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is the main reason you'd be making the deal. Well, P.J. Washington was a top 15 pick. He averaged 15 and 8 last year, so you're getting a good power forward. And you'd get Cooper Flagg. In return, the Cavs would trade Donovan Mitchell to the Mavericks. The Mavericks, and they would trade Jared Allen to the Lakers. So they'd be getting players. It's a 4-team deal. Mavericks get Donovan Mitchell, some pick swaps, and a first-round pick from the Lakers in 2031. Cavs get this year's first-round pick, Javon Carter, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford. Lakers get Jared Allen. The Bulls get Dalton Connect, Caleb Martin, and some, late-round picks. So the question is, and this is kind of crazy, would you make, if you're a Cavs fan, Donovan Mitchell is the absolute heart and soul of this team. If you would have said to me yesterday, is there anybody you would trade Donovan Mitchell for? I'd say, yeah, there's probably 3 guys, but none of those guys are going to get traded. Maybe there's 5 guys. I don't know, whatever. I hadn't even thought about this possibility. And obviously this is a highly unlikely scenario. But if the Cavs could get Cooper Flagg, I guess it depends how good you think Cooper Flagg is. I mean, the guy was certainly a sensation in college, but he's young, and so your core would now be, Cooper Flagg, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland, and it's a younger core, right? But I just couldn't do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my mind. And Cooper Flagg is 18 years old. I mean, he could be a superstar for the next 15 years. You might have the next great player. Tell me if I'm crazy here. Is Cooper Flagg that good? At Duke, he averaged 19 points, 7.5 boards, 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks, 2 turnovers. He shot 48% from the field, 39% from 3, 84% from the line. He was, the guy was. But I how do I trade a guy who was first-team All-NBA for a rookie? I guess I don't know, because it was so off the radar. I guess I hadn't thought enough about, is this guy good? Is he going to be an all-time great player? Let's see. $400 million Jets is 55 is a strange age. Aretha says, you're very handsome, just shaving a haircut. Well, thank you, Aretha. Are you flirting? Do I need a haircut? I could see the shave. I don't know that I really need a haircut. Z, Cavs going to capture the flag. Very creative. That could be certainly a headline if the Cavs made that trade. $400 million Jet. I don't like this trade. Mitchell's mindset is perfect. We need more than a young star. Mark Jones says no. G. Bush's bad neck. Nope, Bull. I'm crazy with you not doing that. $400 million Jet. Switch Mitchell with Garland and it's fine. Yeah, well, of course it's fine. But they're not doing that. Why would they do that? Dallas. They're not going to Darius instead of Donovan Mitchell. We'd all, of course, say yes if it was Darius instead of Donovan Mitchell. But no, I ultimately wouldn't do this. It's crazy. It's a crazy trade. I'll be curious to see what Mikey McNuggets has to say about it today because he knows the NBA better than I do. But no, and I know Donovan's 8 years older than Cooper Flagg, 9 years, something like that. And we've seen that with Donovan as the best player. It seems like there's only not his fault, but it seems like there's a limit to how far they can get. But I still can't do it. I can't do it. Can I try to pretend that they would do it and take it for Darius Garland? No chance, but that would be an awesome fantasy if they would, because if they get this kid to go with Mitchell and Mobley, now you're talking. I mean, that would be unbelievable. But that's not realistic. That wasn't the trade. So sadly, that will not happen. Finally, the Cleveland Guardians, after a day off yesterday, taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels over the weekend, on the road in New York, in the Bronx, 3-game series, all 3 games at 7:05. Tanner Bybee and Carlos Rodon tonight. It's a great pitching matchup. Obviously, Bybee's been a lot more good than bad. There's been some bad moments, but Carlos Rodon has been fantastic for the Yankees. He's been one of the big reasons why they're doing as well as they are. Tomorrow, Luis Ortiz and Casey Schmidt. I always call him Clark Schmidt. And then Thursday's game is Slade Ciccone against Max Fried. Fried is the number one reason why the Yankees are playing this well, because he's been lights out. Although I think his last start he didn't pitch well. Or was it 2 starts ago? Let me look at it. Yeah, his last start he got smoked against the Dodgers. That's right. Got smoked, gave up 6 earned runs, 10 base runners in 5 innings. That was, I think, his first bad start all season. So maybe the Guardians could keep that going. But it's tough. I mean, Rodon and Fried are excellent. And, Schmidt's okay, but you're facing 2 really good pitchers over the next 3 days. So if you're out of the area, tonight's game's on TBS. And, in fact, we'll have Curtis Granderson on UCSS today. He's part of that broadcast on TBS. And tomorrow's game's on Prime, and Thursday on MLB Network, in addition to the local channel. So there you go. All right, Guardians plus 170 tonight. You see the standings up there. Guardians begin the day 6.5 back of Detroit. Tigers are 40-21. They have the best record in baseball. I don't think they're the best team in baseball, but they have the best record. And they're tied with the Yankees for the best run differential in the American League. Actually in all of baseball, one up on the Cubs at plus 98. Rockies got their 10th win last night, improved to 10-50. Congratulations to them. The Rockies, how about this? The Rockies are now 4-0 following an 8-game winning streak. An 8-game losing streak. As bad as the Rockies are, 10-50, they have not lost more than 8 games in a row this season. They've lost 8 in a row 4 times. And all 4 times, they won the 9th game. They are a lock. The Rockies are an absolute lock on an 8-game losing streak. 4-0. All right, folks, thanks to Z and Max for producing today. If you have not already done so and you're in the room with us now, please hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. I'll be back on Thursday with Dustin, 9 a.m., and I'll be on Betting Weekly Hardball both today and tomorrow at 2 p.m. with Doug Kazarian. We'll talk more about this Rockies trend of always winning after losing 8 in a row. That's coming up later today. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you all next time. Where else but right here in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.